hello everybody, this is Adrienne with Ascension Soul Coach. So we just woke up this morning to hear that Meghan has revealed that she had a miscarriage back in July. Now I need to read on this. I'm not trying to be macabre about it. I just want to know for myself if she was telling the truth, because she's been caught in so many lies. It's just amazing that she doesn't want to talk about Archie, doesn't really show Archie much, I should say. She says she wants her privacy, and then she doesn't tell anybody she's pregnant, but then she wants to talk about a miscarriage that happened 4 months ago. I mean, it could have likely happened, and if it did, I feel sorry for her and Harry, because it's not, I'm sure it's not a, I know it's not a great feeling, because I know people who've had miscarriages, and it could be very devastating to the couple. So we don't know how far. I didn't read the article. I just heard them read the first part of the article, or parts of the article about what she was saying. So so I just want to read and just see if there was a baby. Was she pregnant? I'm not asking was there a surrogate pregnant. I'm asking if, because Meghan's in that story, in the Times magazine, in the article she wrote, is saying that she was pregnant. So my question is, I'm going to use the Kipper to read, and I'm going to do 9 cards and see what we got here. So we're going to pull out 9 cards really quick. This is one. This is the main card. I'm not going to turn it over yet. So we're going to do 9 cards to read. Was Meghan, did she have a miscarriage? Meghan Markle have a miscarriage this year in July. This year. That's the second card. Or is this a PR stunt where she's just trying to get sympathy? And again, I say if she had a miscarriage, she has my sympathies. And I truly believe that if she did, everybody should be, just give her that space to deal with it. But if she did not, let's just read and see what the cards are saying about that. So we're already at 3, we need 9. So y'all know how I do it. Let's see, does she have a miscarriage? Right. But I've heard of many stories where women have lied about being pregnant. There's prosthetics out there that women can use. There's fake pregnancy tests people can take. I didn't know that. I met a guy I was dating, and the girl he had been seeing before had told him she was pregnant, and so we stopped talking. And then later on, found out the girl lied. She even had, throughout the pregnancy, supposedly she had pictures, and he was touching her belly, with them in pictures, and the baby was growing, and found out the baby. He used to be away a lot and go. He was a merchant mariner. He would go out a lot, and so every 3 months he would come home. 3 weeks. Every 3 weeks he would come home. The last 3 weeks to the last phase of her pregnancy, she said she had the baby right before he was coming home. Let him know. He couldn't reach her. Come find out that when he got home, she was not at the house. And he was trying to find her and calling her family frantically, trying to figure out where she was. Well, one, they didn't know she was pregnant, her family, because they didn't live in the same city. But she went back home to them when she knew he was coming home, because she had to produce a baby, and come find out that she was never pregnant. She was lying, and this is not the first time she had done it. And people are like, well, how did she get away with it? Well, you go online, you can see there's places you can actually buy prosthetics from. You can buy fake pregnancy tests from. There's all kinds of ways, because I guess it has something to do with, if you do a movie or a play or, stuff like that, you can have, they're called props. So I did not know that. So I know she was not pregnant at all. Mental health issues. But let's see what's going on with Meghan. We're not going to say that. We're going to say, I'm going to turn these right side up. I'm not going to read these reverse. All of them. So, these are the cards. And as I talk about them, I'm going to lift them up to the camera so you can see them better. Okay? So. Okay. Meghan. Okay. So the middle of the card is adjudication. So someone's being judged. This is Meghan and Harry. They feel like they're always being judged. And, you know, to me, this could be the Queen. Remember their 12-month review is coming up, remember? So they got to come in front of the courts. Oh, this is the crown. To me, this is like the crown. They've got to come in front of the Queen and make their case about what's going on lately, this past year. Okay. So let's read these cards. So at the bottom we have unexpected income. What's this card? We have high honor. We have distant horizons. Okay. So I'm going to go to the rest of them. We have this level. We have change. Or adjudication. We have thief. We have marriage. We have child. And we have message of concern. All right, let's read it. Okay, so at the bottom of this thing here, so we got unexpected income, high honor, and distance horizon. So one thing we know is that, let me push these up so you can get a better view of them. You know, when they left, they wanted to make their own money, right? They came over to America to make their own money, and they're having problems making money right now. They've got the deal with Netflix, but they're not making any real money right now because they have to perform to be able to get the money. They have to produce something first to get the money, right? Well, maybe they've got like an advance or something like that, but they don't really have the money, and they're losing money. They're not getting as much money from the crown as they were getting before, okay? Or from Charles. So there's money issues. But when it came over to America, Harry wanted to be able to keep his high honors. He wanted to keep his foot in the door with the royals. But they also wanted to come to America to make their own legacy, their own name, right? So they can make the money over in America using the title. It's really, yeah, to me, using the titles, as we all know. So. I'm doing it backwards. Hold on, peeps. I'll do it this way for you. And over in America, distant horizons. So they left England for America to make their own money, but they wanted to use their titles to do this. So they wanted change. They wanted to leave. They wanted to get rid of they didn't want to do their royal duties, and so the Queen had to judge them because of that, and make a decision about what, do y'all let you go? Yes, you all can go, but at the same time, the royal family and the British people felt like this was theft. Like Meghan had come over to Britain and taken Harry as hostage, and she took him away from the British people. That all along her plan was never to stay in Britain, never stay married to Harry, maybe stay married to Harry, but never to stay in Britain in the first place. And all of this was a ruse and manipulation to get Harry to leave with her so she can go back to America. And so she's given them a year, remember, to go to America, they have to live the life they want to live, right? Even though the Queen think it was not a good decision for Harry to do this. And so that's why she gave them this 12-month review plan to review the money they were making overseas, doing different things, which right now it looks like is acting and television production, or speaking for organizations overseas. Something they would have done if they were still in Britain. They're doing it over here in America. However, they're getting paid for it. Over there, they didn't get paid for it. They just had their expenses paid for. Now they can make their own money. So she's reviewing that. That was the thing. So now we have this thing here now where, because you know this is coming up. This is coming up in March, right? So now we have, with this marriage, this partnership with Harry, in this baby situation, there's a message of concern. So this, these cards don't lie. Here we go. The marriage with Harry and Meghan has been always talked about, right? Did she really love him? Did she really want to stay with him? Was she marrying him for out of a step up? Now she's got Archie, but now the situation is, did she just lose a baby? Did she just lose a baby? So here's the message of concern right here. She wrote the article saying she lost a baby. It's bad news, right? It's bad news for her marriage. They lost a baby, and now she's written about it. Okay, so we're going to read on this. So that's just over the top view of this here. So now we're going to read. I can do this right here. Still moving these up a little bit more for you. So we're going to read here. This is the past, present, future. So they got married. They wanted change. They wanted to leave the monarchy to make their own money. So they got married. They wanted to make a change, leave the royal duties, so they can go out and make their own money. Okay. They had a child, which was Archie. And the one thing that we've all thought, most of us have thought, is that Meghan wants to have the heir on a spare. Just puts her more solidly in the royal family. It's just not a, she doesn't just have it's not a fluke. She's actually studied. She needs the extra security of being in the family. So 2 children is always better than 1, right? Not so much that there would be an heir, but just like you have a spare, right? Just to get the extra security into the royal family. She's looking at strategically, if I have 2 children, then my roots in the royal family are a lot stronger, okay? And now this coming up is the review process with the Queen, right? And Harry's wanting his high honors and he wants to keep his title. And then there's this talk of the Queen possibly taking away their titles. I'm not sure if that's going to happen. She could, right? She took away Diana's titles, her HRH. And so he wants to keep his footing with the royal family. He wants to keep his title. But this is under review. Part of this is under review. Alright, so then we have this message coming out from Meghan about the baby, the loss of the baby. I do not believe that the Queen is going to believe the story, that she's thinking it's another form of manipulation. Because I don't believe she told them that she had a miscarriage. So the Queen is very skeptical of the story. Because we got a man walking. We have a man, let's get a much better view. We have a man walking and this woman standing on the side laughing as the child is pickpocketing the man. Supposedly. So the Queen's not going to believe this story. And she's going to think it's fantasy. So distant horizons can mean far off lands, foreign places. It can also mean fantasies and wishes. So the Queen's not going to believe the story. The royal family's not going to. The royal family and the people who help run the royal family are not going to believe the story. They don't believe the story. One, because if it had happened in the beginning, Meghan would have told them so. Harry would have made an announcement to the family and told them to keep it secret. So if it's true, you'll hear later that Harry, back in July, told his family, or maybe early August, told his family what happened, and they're going to come out and you're going to hear something that says, yes, they were told to keep it secret. If you don't hear that, it didn't happen. And let me say this. You can be pregnant and then you could lose a baby very easily in the first 3 months. So she is saying that she got pregnant and had the miscarriage, went to the hospital in LA during COVID with nobody can get into the hospital and nobody's heard of it. And she's telling us 4 months later that this happened. And this is a person who says they want privacy. And for what good reason? What she's saying that now that it could help other people who have gone through a miscarriage to use this story to help others. To me, it sounds a lot like PR. She has a new PR team, and they're scraping and trying to find anything to make Meghan Markle more relatable. People are already talking about pregnancy, so it's already in the air. Like, is she pregnant? Is she pregnant? So then you got this story come out that just feeds into, oh, she was pregnant, but then she had a miscarriage. So I think that the storyline is going to be the Queen is going to hear the message about the miscarriage again. She's not going to believe it. It's just not believable because of all the lies she's told and the way she conducts herself, and they're going to think it's fantasy. And I think the majority of the people are going to believe that. I think news stories out right now are like trying to give her the benefit of the doubt, saying she's disclosed this very personal and heartbreaking information, and people don't want to think that she's lying, and they're not gonna, because they know if they come out and say they think there's a possibility she's lying, that the public are going to come out and say, oh, what if she did, and that's kind of cruel of you, so they're not going to say that. But the Queen is not going to believe it, in her court. The people who are going to help her make the decision and finalize this resolution between her and Harry are not, it's not going to weigh heavily on this situation, because let me tell you, if it was so, if this baby was so important when she was pregnant, one, they're not even letting her see Archie, but if this child was so important to the monarchy, to the Queen, for them to be a part of the royal family, then if you didn't even tell me you were pregnant and you had a miscarriage and now it's 4 months later, I'm not going to care now. I may be sorry for you and think, okay, I'm sorry that if you had one, but I'm not going to let that affect the decision that I come up with in March. It's going to have no bearing on it. Okay, so that's the past. This is the present, and this is the future. It's not going to bother. It's not going to matter. The people are not going to believe her. People are just not going to believe the story. Okay, great. So let me read a little further. So I'm going to use my cards. These are my cards I created that are called. So I'm going to take these cards off. Blind Trust. And they're all different shapes and sizes, yes, but they're my cards. So I'm just going to shuffle them, and I'm going to just bring out 3 cards about this relationship with Harry. And I'm going to turn them upside down for y'all, so you don't think I'm cheating. And I'm going to ask the question, what's going on with Meghan? Is this story true? Because these are positive and negative cards. It's an even number. About her miscarriage this year in July. Is she being honest and sincere? Is she being honest and sincere? I'm just going to pile these cards. Oh, they're turning over, but I'm not going to pick those because I don't want y'all to think I'm cheating. So, is she being honest? Alright, so here's 1 card. Here's 2 cards. And 3 cards. So let's read them. I'm just going to put this stack over there. So it was 1, 2, 3. Was she telling the truth about this? Miscarriage that happened in July this year. Meghan Markle. So it says introspection. The first card. You can see that. Okay. So she went inside, trying to find herself, trying to find a way to move forward. There's her reflection. Right? This is like a little bit like the Hermit card. Trying to find your way. Trying to go inside and figure out who are you? What's going on with you? How do you move forward? How do you change? Although I think Mars narcissists don't have forms of introspection, but at this point, she's either been forced to go inside and figure out what do I need to do to make things better, or someone's making her do it. Look at the image that you're projecting out there. How do we change it? Because right here it's burning bright, but in her reflection it's not. Her image is burning bright. This is what she wants, but right here it's not. So how do we change it so we can be more positive and project a more positive image? Okay. So what's come out of this? So this is past, present, future. Is how I look at it. I'm gonna read this here. That presently she's a wolf in sheep's clothing. Behind the beauty, look at the beautiful sheep, innocent sheep, is a wolf in sheep's clothing. So she's lying. She's pretending. She doesn't want her tribe to go. There's a reflection, right? This is the real view of who she is, a wolf in sheep's clothing. All right. She doesn't want anybody to see who she really is. The PR team wants to bring out the best in her. How do we bring out the best? Meghan doesn't know how. She says she's a wolf in sheep's clothing. That's how she's always lived her life, to get ahead. She can never let you know who's behind this beautiful face, innocent looking face. She's always manipulating. She doesn't know how to give you the best of her. She can only present what you think is the best in her, but she never want you to see this. Because this is who she really is. And what is the end? The end is severed communication. So, here we go. So you can see this card here. Okay, severed communication. I do not want to hear what you are saying. So if you don't want to hear what I'm saying, if you don't want to do what we want you to do, this is a PR team, they're going to cut ties. I don't know if you can see this. Let me get, there we go. I don't know if you can see it very well, but trying to get the best view for you. Okay, see these scissors right here? She doesn't want to hear what anybody's telling her. She'd rather sink than to listen to what anybody, especially Harry, or anybody tells her about how to improve her image. Again, here is her image. They're sitting in water. There's the reflection, and it's murky. She doesn't care. I'm tuning you out. She's not going to listen to her. The new team is just like she didn't listen to the old team. She's doing some things, but at the end of the day, she's going to mess it up. Because she's going to want to do what she wants to do. And the more she does this, the more it's going to break a tie between her and the people who are trying to help her, and with her relationship with Harry. It's going to continue to hurt them, their relationship. But immediately it will be her PR team. Give them a few months and you'll see the difference. She's going to try in the beginning, but like I said, she doesn't want anybody to know who she is. She can't let y'all see this. She will never let that face drop. Not on purpose. It's all going to be the manipulation and lies, because she cannot let anybody know who she really is. She can't change. She's not going to change. She can pretend to change, but she's not going to change. This is who she is going to be. It's always going to be an act. And it's going to always, she's always going to sever ties with people, because she's not going to want to listen to what they're telling her. That's probably for her good. So is the story about the baby true? what I can say based on what I'm reading is, could she have taken the pregnancy test and it said positive and then it was negative? Yes, like false positive in the test. Second one, she could have been pregnant and she could have lost the baby easily up front. But was it a traumatic event? No. I think whatever she said is an embellishment. I don't think she went and bought fake pregnancy tests. She could have. There's a lot of scenarios around there. She could have bought a fake pregnancy test and then showed it to Harry. And then when she went to the doctor to say she was, let's go to the doctor. They have the first, examination. The doctor says you're not pregnant. And then she calls that a miscarriage. She could tell Harry it's a miscarriage because I was pregnant. I know I was pregnant. I felt pregnant. I didn't have my period, Women do that, okay? Or she could have had a false positive and now she's calling that a miscarriage. Or she could have been pregnant and then she lost the baby and it was just absorbed and it was just an easy pass-through miscarriage. I do not believe she was in agony and went to the hospital to have a D&C. The D&C is anybody knows have a miscarriage would know what that is. I don't believe it because it was, and if it was that severe, I think she would have told her mother, and he would have told his father, and the royal family would have known. And you will hear later that the story was out there, but they were told not to talk about it, and then let Meghan talk about it on her own. If you don't hear that scenario, then it didn't happen because they would have told. Because Meghan wants attention, and she would expect it that the royal family would have put the story out for her. I mean, it's like she always putting stories in the newspaper, right? She's always putting her story in the newspaper, whether it was a story about her father, the letter she wrote her father. Now she's writing about her miscarriage, possible miscarriage. And I really truly think that she just wants publicity. She wants the story to get to the Queen. She wants to impact the Queen's decision that's coming up in March. I don't think she thinks it's going to be a good decision. And she also wants to impact her money. Now, here's the other thing. We know that Netflix has been following them for a while. Is this another part of the story that's going to go into Netflix documentary on her and Harry? I mean, you got to have sensationalism, right? You got to have drama for the story to be interesting. So I'm just saying it's just too coincidental, and yeah, I just don't see it. So I'm coming up with some manipulation. We got that card, and we got the theft card. So, over dramatization. Over dramatization. She's not gonna let you know the truth. She's a pickpocketer. She's con artist. So, was she ever pregnant? I'm not going to say she was not. I'm just going to say it was, if she was, or at some point she felt she was. It was never as when she lost it, or she was found out it was no longer a baby there, or she was told there was no baby there. And the other thing is, there's people who have been, what is the word? Psychosomatic, that they think they're pregnant and then they've been told they weren't, so they thought they were pregnant. Psychological, there was an issue with them. They thought they were pregnant and then they found out they weren't pregnant later on. So there's those other instances where that could have been an issue. So I'm not sure. I'm saying I don't think if she was pregnant and lost a baby, I do not believe that it was as traumatic as she's writing about. I think, because like I said, if you found out 1 week you're pregnant and next week you're not, it's not as traumatic as if you had a baby growing within you within 5 or 6 months and you have a miscarriage. And I'm not saying that if different people don't have different mental issues, but the first trimester is very risky part of any pregnancy. So, where if you are going to carry it all the way through or not, to full term or not, the first 12 weeks are the ones where you most likely would have a miscarriage, and that would not impact you as heavily physically later in your than if you had it later in your pregnancy. So I don't think that I don't think it was as big as an event as okay, let me just put it this way. I do not believe it was as big of an event as she is portraying it to be in the story. Put it that way. That should take care of all that. Throw down one card and sum it up about this pregnancy issue with Meghan, with this new baby she claims she had a miscarriage with. Just sum it up in one card. Was it true? Was it such a big event? It's not been documented, not even communicated. I don't know what this means. Official person. So to me, it's a very rigid person, a person who gives orders, and I believe that Meghan gives orders. She's in control of this narrative. She's trying to be in control of her own narrative of her life, and so she's telling her PR people. I'm sure she's make it so. Put it out there. I'm ready for this. Put it out there. She's giving the orders. Meghan's giving the orders. Put it out there. Put the story out there. No matter how weak it was. Look, I don't want anybody to think that I do not believe that miscarriages are not important. I do. I've never had one, thank God. By the grace of God, I've seen people who've gone through it. All I'm saying is that the situation with Meghan was not as, you can say a miscarriage is a miscarriage is a miscarriage. I don't believe that what happened with her was as severe or as dramatic as she wrote about. It wasn't like that. It wasn't like that. Either she wasn't pregnant and she made it up, or it was very, very, it was, you could say yes, her hopes were high if she had gotten pregnant, but I don't believe she was the situation where it's as dramatic as she wrote about. Nowhere near. But she's telling, and she's dramatizing, and she's telling her PR people to put it out there. I'm in control of this story. Put it out there. Make it so. Make it happen. And that's the way I feel about it. Or her PR people wouldn't have done it. So just wait a few months. You'll see if the royal family has heard about the story. If you do, and they will leak it because they want people to know it was true in some form or fashion, that they were told to not say anything about it until Meghan was ready. You'll hear that because that's how they roll. If you don't hear that, they're not believing it. It didn't happen, one, and they're not going to believe her. They're not even going to believe her because they would be like, she would have told us. So that is my reading for the day. I'm not on camera. I'm not going to be on camera because I just woke up. So I'll talk to you all later, and we'll do another reading later on some follow-ups on this particular story. I just wanted to get this out early as possible. Just to see what the cards were saying. So I'm saying this is what the cards are saying. This is for entertainment purposes only. Just to see what the cards were saying about this pregnancy, because that really, it didn't throw me, because I've been thinking about pregnancy for a while, but I wasn't feeling at all that she was pregnant, that there was just going to be discussions of it, and evidently that's what we got. So I mean, then again, she could come out the end of the month, or let's say December sometime, and say she's pregnant now again, and then it'll be bigger news because she had a miscarriage, quote unquote, and then she got pregnant again, so it'll make it a bigger thing. People are gonna have even more sympathy on her if she comes out and says she's pregnant again. That now we have to be easier on her. Let's be more sympathetic. We don't want her to lose this one. You'll hear stories like that if that's the case, if she comes out. So I'm predicting around December, around the end of December, she may, or early January, but she may come out and say she's pregnant again, and therefore people will lay off on her because they don't want to provoke her or upset her because she's older, and to have stress her out into having another quote unquote miscarriage. So it could all be a scheme. We will know. We shall know soon. So anyway, thank you for tuning in. I will talk to you later. Y'all have a great day. Bye.